Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to an extremely special episode. Well, it's not Weaving Myths, is it?
No, it's not Weaving Myths.
All right.
It's a Project Unveil.
Welcome to the Mythweavers Meetup, first annual live from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Welcome, everyone. Woo!
You're a dork.
I am a dork, but you know, I wanted to show that we're actually here with real people.
As the guns are pointed at our backs.
As Logan, yeah.
We're actually here to reveal, for once, one of the redacted projects we're actually working on.
Yes.
Because some of you know about it. How many people here have been read into Project Baldr already?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like half the
Bits and
people
pieces.
here. Bits and pieces. Everyone else, this will be new for you for the first time, and for everyone
Watching on the site.
watching on the site. No, the voices in your head are in fact real.
Mine might be in your head.
Okay, fine. Yeah, Collins is probably in your head. I'm gonna ignore that for now. All right, so Project Baldr. Ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, you're not allowed. Yeah, we're done. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
This is actually what everyone that isn't authorized to be on there sees if they try to load that page.
Right. Until now.
Because we think we're funny.
All right, Project Baldr, Mythweavers version 6.0. Here it is. You're saying, what? That's it? Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Absent. Thank you for the applause track.
All right. Mythweavers version 6 is actually a complete ground-up replacement redesign of the site. We are no longer stuck with vBulletin, which
Is outdated even for vBulletin.
I think will make Rodrigo's blood pressure go down, and David's head won't explode anymore.
Yeah, they've been, so for anyone not familiar, I think everyone here is familiar, but for anyone watching the stream that's unfamiliar, the initial site was written when most of the admins were still high school seniors, and they directly adjusted vBulletin's core code to hack a bunch of stuff to make it work. That's why we have things like, game forums are only for games, don't use them for anything else, because vBulletin wasn't made to have 300 different forums. And because everything got hacked in, we couldn't exactly...
Hack our way out.
Yeah.
So, how many times did we attempt to upgrade the site
Three
to
times.
a newer version of vBulletin? And every time we backed it out, fortunately, we didn't lose any data.
I think the most stable we ever had it, what did we have it up for, a day and a half?
Something like that.
That was the most stable attempt.
Right, and that was because we didn't tell anyone to log in.
Yes.
No one knew about it.
Yes,
Soon as
no one knew we tried.
Yeah. So, we ditched vBulletin. This is a completely different forum package made by Envision Power.
We just call it Envision.
IPS. So it's a completely different forum architecture from the bottom. It's designed to be modular, which means that things like games, you could literally just turn on an application called Clubs, relabel it as games, and walk away. So we took Project Baldr from concept to revealing to you today in
Year and a half. About a year and a half.
And that only took that long because there was a freaking pandemic going on.
Yeah, that did not help.
Yeah. So, much appreciation to everyone here who's been participating in our secret beta for the last 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, about that.
So you'll see their work here as we kind of walk through the forum and its features. Let's start off from the top. I mean, so the basic forums, those are going to be roughly the same as what you've seen before. So this is just a prettier version of the organization of what you've seen before. But right off, let's just go with the obvious. This kind of looks like Mythweavers, but this is the default IPS theme. Themes take maybe half a week worth of effort from a non-coder. So Mr. Andrew J., who I know is listening, watching, he's already hard at work on a dark mode. And by hard at work, I mean he's thinking about it. But he's a complete volunteer, and we can totally respect that. So dark mode's going to come. We got blue mode, obviously. We've got Legacy Mythweavers mode for those of you who really like
Parchment.
Russet and Parchment.
Is Lime coming back?
I've been pushing, Logan, I have been pushing for Lime.
Lime.
I get a lot of hatred every time I bring it up.
I miss Lime.
Is there an office mode coming back that makes it look like?
There's been talk about an office mode.
Myth workers.
Myth workers.
Yep.
So I mean, for comparison, the reason the existing site hasn't really had themes is because in V Bulletin, it is hell. Even if you know what you're doing, it is hell.
It's like looking at the worst designed web form you've ever seen. It's probably 200, 250 fields, just a long list.
With no explanation on what exactly that color is adjusting. You're just trying to guess from the text, you know, okay, I think this alters the color for this item.
But it might also alter the color for 3 other items.
Yes, and it doesn't clarify that. So yes, it's the reason we haven't had themes is, oh God, why?
Yeah, it was technically impossible. All right, so you got your forums here on the left. On the right-hand side, you've got My Games, just like you have on the existing version of the site. But you also see that there's a calendar feature built in, which means that we can schedule events, whether they're virtual or in person like this one, and you can get your calendar feed and subscribe to it and actually have it show up on your Google Calendar if you really care about Mythweavers that much, like we do, because we're crazy. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so you can see that there's already plans for Chase's next virtual meetup here in October. You can see by her face that she's already hard at work planning for our next event.
Is that what that face is? I thought I saw tears.
See, there was, I have to plan Weavers and then get married and then do the next virtual.
Oh, just delegate. You'll be fine.
Marriage.
What are
Delegate
you
the
doing
marriage.
next October?
Being busy. Delegation goes down, not up.
You told me
That-
I can do whatever I want.
That's why I delegate to you.
Right, Shimmy's here, Powder's here. You're good.
It's temporary.
Question. We put a calendar on there, and I'm assuming right now that calendar is run by the moderators and admins, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, there are some games that says you need to update by this time. For example, periodically. Will there be able to be attached calendars for particular games?
Absolutely, and we'll show you that when we get to games here
Yes.
in moments. But if we just kind of look at the organization, there's also events and who's online. Obviously, those are kind of standard features, so there's nothing really exciting there. But let's dive into a forum. Forums can now have descriptions, so you know kind of what you're looking at, which will be mostly obvious for most of the public forums.
Yes.
But, okay. Yeah. But they're also there for games, so that you can give a description of what your game is about without having to give someone full access to your game to go read along if you don't want to. Game modes we'll talk about in a second as well. And diving into a particular thread or topic as it's referred to in IPS, you can see here that it kind of looks a lot like what we had before, but there's a few new features like multi-quote. Okay, yeah, if you need to quote lots of people and have a wall attached so you can have an argument and gaming discussion, a within the rules argument and gaming discussion.
We have now made it easier to fight with others within the rules.
Right. But you got your reply box at the bottom, and yeah, okay. Here's the other cool feature.
Here's the big thing for us.
BB code is dead.
Long live BB code.
I learned it then.
Yeah, for all of us that have been around for way longer than we care to think about, yes, we spent all this time learning BB code, and now it's going away.
Right.
We're going to a full WYSIWYG interface. What you see is what you get.
Which also means that, say, if you've got an old post on the old site, and you just want
Find one of those complex character sheets.
Yeah, I'm just going to grab some random HTML here and switch back over here. It carries along all the formatting with it. So, yeah, if you need to copy-paste stuff, go ahead and copy-paste stuff. It works real well.
The only thing we don't have is field sets.
Oh.
However, everything, this is those insanely complicated but pretty character sheets you can copy-paste now.
And then just click in the box where you need to go put in your number, rather than having to tab your way over to where is that closed bracket, and if you miss it.
There's alignment buttons. There's the tables are interactive tables.
Yeah, so if you drop a table in here, it's going to ask you the size and the information of the table you want. And then, okay, yeah, you could actually adjust formatting, inserting cells and rows. Okay, so
There's
tables,
context menus now.
way better than what we had before.
Can you actually get into the HTML?
So you can
You can
not
stupid or crazy?
directly edit the HTML.
Reason,
Well, actually,
um,
I take that back. So if you are really hardcore, you can go into the developer tools of the browser and edit the HTML of the post-editing window, and that will live change it here, and then it will save.
Question. Portability between pages, sheets, docs, numbers, Word. If I format a fancy looking character sheet in Word or Doc or Pages, I copy paste in here, will it carry over? Has that been
Probably.
tested?
not extensively. We know it'll get most if you, so for anyone that couldn't hear the question, can you do something like format a character sheet in Word and then copy paste it over? The answer is
Probably.
initial testing mostly. It'll treat it as rich text format, not basic text. We just haven't gone into extensive testing over how far can we take it. We do know that it will copy things like tables even, and it will interpret it as a table. So,
Mostly, but there's more testing to be done and more playing to be done. And honestly, we're looking forward to letting you all play with this.
yes.
Do you have a new image or file attachment policy now?
It will be changing eventually.
Right. However, images and file attachments are quoted, so you're limited ultimately to how much you want to do. You can only mess with us so much before we're going to tell you no. But speaking of images, obviously you can still use the old file browser to search your way through your files if you really want. Or you could just drag and drop any attachment that you want directly onto your post. So that's a lot easier than it used to be. Subscribing. Well, now you got a subscribe button directly on the thread, so all you have to do is click that over, and then you'll be alerted in your activity feeds to any of the activity that you're following. I click on my activity stream. You can follow members. You can follow content that you started, or you can create your own custom stream based on criteria that you specify.
So, making sure you always get updates about someone posting in a particular game thread.
Font
All there.
options? Font options?
Lots.
We have a couple. I don't think we've actually updated the list at all.
No,
So
we haven't.
We've got just the default 10 web fonts, but we could add more fonts, and fonts can be streamed out.
Yeah.
They'll be delivered via the HTML font specification. So
One of the important notes for all this is InVision is built to readily take add-ins, and there is both a massive amount of existing stuff and certain code monkeys are good at writing add-ins. So it's easier for us to adjust things, add things, modify things without doing something insane like last time and modifying InVision's core code.
right. Oh, other features that are useful. So this used to be a community supporter only thing, but you saw I navigated out of the thread, came back with an incomplete post. All of that's saved. So
Yes, so posts.
It will no longer be, oops, I closed my browser and lost my post.
Is that per thread or one thread?
per
It's
thread.
per thread.
Okay. How long does that last?
Until you clear your cookies.
Okay.
Now, that said,
We're working on the first batch.
For those of you who aren't here, you're not lucky enough to be enjoying Powderhorn and Mrs. Powderhorn's chocolate chip cookies and all of their cooking along with Danny Society.
Pathfinder Society, Adventures League. Yeah.
Yeah, all the crazy ones. And obviously, if you just have a default out-of-the-box game and you don't bother to put an image, well, we're going to give you one. It'll be some sort of pretty version of dice. And if you want to join games, here's the easy button to join games. No more trying to click through to which menu do I need to go to get to the game control panel, and which of those weird icons.
Now, so we are still working on some of the features with that area. Because right now, everyone's used to the way you've got public, advertising, private, all that for games.
Right.
There's not an easy way for the GMs to switch that right now.
Right. But there are
Betas.
all of the modes that we wanted and more are available. So let's talk about that for a second. So, open game. That literally means what it says, that anyone can come and join the game. Open game, anyone can come join at any time. All they have to do is click on the join button. And if you've set up rules for your game, they have to accept the rules.
Yes, you can set up here's my policies, and yes.
Closed game, on the other hand, requires someone to actively ask to join, and then you, as the head GM or any of the people you've deputized, can then approve them to join your game. There's also a read-only game. This allows anyone to see the content, but they can't post in your game. So unlike now, where our existing game forums, if it's open for posting and someone can navigate to it, they could just, drive-by post in your game forum, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Read-only games now give you the ability to show off your content without necessarily having
It's the
randoms.
equivalent of public, or it's the equivalent of open, but it's like reader status without them being able to read secret text.
Right.
It makes it easier for people to be readers without you having to approve it and then worrying about, I don't want them to see some of these threads.
Is there a super reader status that they can't see super text in?
Not yet.
Not yet,
There's not a super reader status yet.
but it's definitely something that would be not too hard to add in, and we're already looking at it. Public games. This is actually a feature we do not have other than kind of in non sequitur. A public game, literally anyone can come and post. There's no need to join. There's no members. You don't have a members list here. It's just literally an open forum where people can come and post their game content. We might use that for some things like collaborative world building or other stuff like that, so that you don't have to figure out how to use the wiki.
The next time Iron Blaze starts some sort of madness.
Right. And the last one, which as a demo user, so this is not me personally as Eric, this is a demo user because I don't want to show you all the staff stuff. I don't see any of the private games, but there are in fact private game forums. Private games do what they say they do. The only people who can see it are the people who are already in the game. And GMs can send out game invites to the people that they want to join, but otherwise the game is invisible, except the staff. You can always see it.
Yes.
Okay, I mentioned avatars here, but if you were to hover over someone's avatar like mine here, you get the user's profile there. So it says that Eric is a member of the administrators group. You can also see that I've made 29 posts and gotten 2 badges. So yes, all the badges that you always wanted, now we can actually do them. Well, we won't give them everything they wanted, right?
No, not ever.
Not ever. Okay. These will usually mean something. Like you've been on the site for long enough that you've participated running a game for a year. You get a badge for that. Or
Really?
you've played in a game for a year. These are just kind of things that are under experimentation, but if I
One
were to
of the-
Butcher in here,
Yep.
she's helpful.
One of the big things with the badges that we've talked about extensively internally is we are going to try to keep the badges as something that's kind of like, oh, cool, they did this, but not something that can be used as a status symbol. We don't want to deal with people trying to lord over others. Oh, I've got this badge because I'm awesome and I've run 6 games.
Powderhorn, meanwhile, has the TPK badge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Having taken us all out in We've Missed Us Tabletop.
I've got a couple of questions about the game section.
Go right ahead.
Alright, so sorting, tagging, searching
Yes.
through the games. So what's the systems available for those?
So obviously we got ways to change the display mode, but from sorting you can sort by name, by most members, by most content, by latest created or latest activity, which is the default. And then filtering, by default, is just these two options.
There's still expansions being added in.
Right. So filtering, we haven't gotten into making game filters. The next level will be being able to tag games by system, by
Yeah, it's the big focus right now for the unveiling was getting the core features together.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, there's going to be, we'll be showing the die rolling in a bit, that sort of thing, but right now it's, okay, certain things like, I want to filter by advertising 5th ed games. That doesn't exist yet. It's on the planned features list.
I see. Do you plan to have only added tags allowed, freeform or freeform but reserved tags?
We're going to have the ability to add tags more easily than currently. It'll still be a defined list,
Okay.
but it won't be like currently where someone with database access has to be able to add the tag.
Okay, so we're not looking at people going hashtag kobolds suck.
No, it's
No, definitely
it's,
not that.
It's not. It's going to be a staff-defined list, but it's also going to be easier for staff members in general to get a new system on there.
Okay. Is there a capability to search only within the game page and the game like somebody wants to search for the word
Search
kobold.
within a game form.
Yep.
Like just search on this
So-
page. I want to find a game that mentions kobold in the description.
Yep, there you go. So here's the search. This is the default search, but if you want the complete set of options, you can find results and you can filter it down to just particular games or particular forums or particular
So you can
blogs.
go to the game directory, like tell it within the game directory, find me kobolds.
Okay, understood within the game directory. I mean, like on this page where we have games, everybody's written a little blurb. There you have the game name, you have a short game description if anybody bothered to fill that out, and want to find the game name or described as kobolds.
Yes, that's what we're saying.
Okay, so not within the game form, just on this page.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Actually on
Yeah.
any page.
Yeah, you can define it by specific page. You can go to general discussion and show me things with kobolds, or you can, I believe, you can filter down further.
Yeah, you can go for any word. You can go for all words.
Yeah,
You can search content and body or just content titles.
It is significantly more friendly than the existing site search,
Okay.
which is put in a word and hope you can find what you want.
I see. And on the top of the forums, is the vote/survey system still in? Is it adjusted?
So we have not made any adjustments to the built-in survey system. So polls are still there. You could set them up,
Yes.
but it's just the out of the box.
It's just out of the box.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's nothing, like I said, there's a list of features. We'll be putting up more information as we go. We'll be getting more feedback as we go.
Okay, backups and security. Sorry, change the topic. On the backups and security here, if the site goes down, what do you have recovery? Have you tested recovering from, somebody
Yes.
shotgunning this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It's
The
better than existing.
database storage is similar to existing, but it's more robust because it's content replicated across multiple servers. So even if someone manages to nuke a copy, they won't get all the copies.
Okay. Recovery still by email? Account recovery?
Account recovery?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yes, but there is also a built-in password recovery feature where you can request an email code be sent to you so that you can recover your password without needing us directly involved. As
Okay.
long as you have access to the email.
How
And
easy is game necromancy?
right now, games never get archived.
Oh.
Eventually, that might game archival. So game archival is a result of the existing site's general hatred of what we've done to make game forums. Too many game, like I said earlier, the site was not meant to have 300 forums, all with their own special GM moderator tag. So yeah, that archival is a result of that.
Trying to minimize the amount of active forum resources that we needed.
Okay, so no necromancy because everybody's immortal.
Yes, everyone's immortal.
Thank you.
Ultimately, we'll probably have a feature for archiving and closing games if you're done with them.
But we're not gonna force it. It's not going to be a stability related, oh god, you know, we're gonna die if we let everyone keep it open.
Okay, I would just like to suggest a close tag for games so that they stop searching up.
Oh,
searches.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's drill into one of these games and see what we got here. So I'm going to pick Butchin's game here, The Brood of the Swamp Witch.
Yeah, it's like you guys planned on that forum.
It's amazing. Okay, so you see here at the top, you have different features. These features are customizable by the GM. So the features can include forums, so collections of topics. So this is all of her IC threads. They can also include calendars, which this one doesn't have one, so I can't show it to you. You've got your members list also there, more easily accessible than it is now.
Yep.
And when they join, and you can get to their profile. The game overview, this comes for free, so everyone gets this whenever they create a club or game within IPS that has the description and then an activity stream of all the new content, including
In that forum.
people joining.
Yep.
And pages.
Yep.
So pages are literal free-form text boxes that the GMs can use to put up whatever content, whether it's images or a world description, as Powder's been working on in his Teor game. We can jump to that in a little bit. And so you can basically put pretty much free-form whatever you want to structure your game.
Yeah, pages are like Wiki Lite,
Okay, it's you have per game wikis.
Yep.
pretty much.
Cool.
And then there's also the GM can add a characters tab. So right now it's using the existing database, which is fine.
Nope.
And
External. We'll get to that.
oh, it's external.
Let's talk to
Okay.
characters
Fine,
for a second.
fine.
All right, so going back to IC. So you saw the post editor previously. Also, previews exist. But if you go look at a post editor in a game, that's a new post. But on the right-hand side here, you can see dice rolls. So the dice rolls are a plug-in feature that exists within the game construct and only show up in the game construct. So you won't have random capabilities to do dice rolls elsewhere. But that also means that the dice are correctly attached to the post, shown off to the side so that you don't have to stare at them all the time.
It also gets rid of the mouse over dice tags,
Yep.
which
are a non-mobile friendly feature.
yeah.
Speaking of mobile friendly,
Oh yes, speaking of that.
there you go, and your dice rolls drop underneath. Your menu structure is reconfigured for mobile layout, and so
Yeah,
those
it
of you
is.
who have been testing it.
It is completely mobile optimized.
Yep.
Do images do the same thing? Like if you use, you don't use BB code anymore, so you can't set dimensions for
You
anything?
can physically set dimensions, but they'll be constrained.
Within the
and then-
WYSIWYG.
And they'll
Okay, so
rescale.
they would re-shrink, so it would become more mobile friendly.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and one of the things that's worth noting real quick is because there is going to be a transition period where everyone's adjusting to this, we are going to be getting documentation written up, especially with the WYSIWYG, because resizing an image in this is, what was it, control right click?
Yeah.
Like all the contextual menus are control right click, so you just control right click the image you dragged and dropped in, and you automatically adjust all the settings within that menu.
Right.
It is
Align, float,
Yeah.
dimensions.
It is a lot more like using a word editor now than having to do the code.
Yep. You also see that because Butcher is the one who posted all of this content and not me, and I'm not the GM, that I don't actually have a button to add dice to her posts. But if I were to go find one of my posts, I think I posted somewhere in here.
I'll just post in there.
If I was smart, you're right, I should just post in there. I'm just gonna pick, somewhere here and say, I posted here.
Graffiti.
All right, there we go. Graffiti one of my demos games. But over here, now you see that I have the ability to add dice to the post.
You give it a name, you tell it what you're rolling. Now the roller's not fully built out yet.
But it does have a preview feature.
Does have a preview feature.
Question: will this box here with the dice roll right here?
Yep.
Is it going to have a direct link or mouse over for the guide to the BB code? Because people are gonna go from here straight to the thing.
So,
There is no BB code anymore.
Sorry, not the BB code.
the dice
code.
strings?
The dice code. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're looking at even further optimizations, like having little dice on there where you can click the plus and minus, so you can say, I want 37 D20.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the dice roller in its most bare bones form.
So things like exploding dice and
Mhm.
roll
Yes.
4, drop 1 will be
Yes.
added
All
later.
be supported. And in fact, we're building it in a modular way instead of the way it's built right now, where it's, if you put in those little flags, it's applied in a particular order, not in the order that you necessarily wanted it to be applied. So you can say, I want fake dice, but I want them to explode, and it would try and do something like that. Now you can say, I want these 6 dice to be rolled, and I want 9s and 10s to explode, and I want to drop the lowest 3 dice, and it'll give you the answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
May I suggest that when you do more complicated dice codes, it may want to show a live interpretation of the dice code, like out in English, to make sure it's what they want. Like some like regex.
that's what the preview is for.
That's
Yeah, but we can definitely.
Yeah.
I know what you're asking for, and that would not be hard to do.
Okay. Good.
And then there's the card
Steal
deck.
the rolls from sheets like you currently can.
So this game form doesn't have any sheets attached to it.
Sheet rolls are coming. Yes.
Let's see.
I don't know which one of these has. We've been running rampant
Right.
and
So
not
we've been
necessarily
creating and
intentional
destroying
directions.
things. So we probably should have picked a particular form that we knew had sheets attached to it. Or I could just log in as me. That's the other option. All right, sign out, sign in. Also, you can sign in with your email address instead of your username now. We haven't decided yet, but as of the latest version of IPS, it's now an option for us to enforce only using your email address instead of your username, so that no one can try and brute force your username and your password. They would have to know your email address, which no one knows other than administrators.
Yep.
Oh, look, there's a new version again.
Of course.
By the
there
way,
is.
they're actively updating IPS way faster than vBulletin, so we'll get notifications like that a lot. All right, so I picked Andrew's game form, and I don't see any actual character sheets here, but now that I'm an administrator, I have the ability to manage games, and you can see that you can add topics, which are forums, essentially, mini forums within the game. Calendar, images, your own blog. You can attach files, which is just literally a list of files attached to the game, or character sheets. You can actually name the tab. I'm just going to leave it as character sheets here. And there you go. So now you have character sheets. Add new sheets? Sure. Right now, this feature is limited only to public sheets on the existing site. The next step will be to actually integrate it so that we're going to drill down into people's private sheets. But I'll go grab sheet number 2445610. Save. There you go. We have not rewritten the sheet display to be integral to the site, but we just cross-pollinated from the old site to the new site, and so here you see a friend.
Currently it works. It'll get prettier as we go.
Right. Go back into breadcrumbs here now. So now I've got character sheets. Let's see. Let me go find an in-character thread here. Denim Fest. Yes. It's a great title for a Vampire the Requiem game. And now you can see, since I have admin privileges, I can actually, so as a GM, a moderator of your own club game, you're able to post against anyone's post. And
So
now
if
that
you
I have,
need to do an opposed roll, for instance,
right.
you can put it within that thread.
And now you can see that since I have Apron attached to this game, now I have the option to, if we had actually any sheet rolls set up,
Yes.
to be able to pick from a list of available sheet rolls for that type of sheet.
Sheet rolls coming soon.
Yep.
She roll as in like a weapon does this.
Yep.
Yes.
It
Yeah,
is.
as in you've got your weapons set up
Gotcha.
already in your character sheet.
So just
pulls
pick
from
one
the
of your
sheet.
weapons and say, I need to make this weapon's attack. And it knows all the rolls that are needed for that weapon and does it.
Little character sheets, you're getting what you see is what you get format as well?
No. But
Not
there's
yet.
okay, whatever fever dreams Eric has, notwithstanding.
Sorry.
We are working on making it easier for at least staff side to build character sheets because right now you have to at least have some idea what you're doing code wise.
Yeah. If
And that's
you can't
been-
do HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on your own, we don't have the bandwidth to help everyone.
Yeah, and that's been the biggest issue right now with the request thread right now because everyone wants sheets done, everyone wants bugs done. We really want to have a site that's not teetering on a knife's edge all the time. So we can only go so many directions right now. So that is in the works to at least make it easier for the non-coders to make sheets.
And it will be a drag and drop. what you see is what
Eventually,
you get
okay,
type.
yes, eventually Eric's fever dreams will result
I've
in drag
already
and drop.
seen the prototype.
You're not supposed to say that's the quiet things you don't say out loud.
But I didn't give the project name, so they don't know it.
Eric, sorry. Will this drag and drop for a non-coder thing be able to be ported into a battle maps or maps module?
No, this is building the character sheet with drag and drop tiles.
Drag and drop tile sounds a lot like making a map.
No, the character sheet.
No,
So
he's-
we can make new
He's
sheets.
saying if you, as a development team, know how to do feature X in a particular way on the web, you could take that knowledge and
It
apply
sounds
it to
a
feature
lot
Y.
like hey, why?
Redacted.
When is maps coming back?
Yeah.
When are maps coming back?
So, part of the reason why we ditched maps was because of how it interacted with the existing forum system. And the fact is it couldn't.
It
There
was a
no
mess.
way to do it under vBulletin's architecture. This DICE plugin, the DICE server is not integral to IPS. It runs on a separate virtual server, does nothing but DICE. We can use those DICE for us, we can use those DICE for our Discord server. We can use those DICE anywhere. Same
Pretty
way
much.
with, let's say, maps. Say if there was a map server somewhere that handled map integration, we can build a plugin that just connects to the map server. And then that map server could be used on boards, could be used on our Discord server.
Landed preemptively. If you say virtual tabletop one more time.
Colin is coming
Yes,
over
Greg.
the table.
So when are maps being implemented?
That's redacted.
Can we implement maps soon?
Oh,
Non-maps question.
all y'all can go to hell.
Shoutbox and or Discord integration?
Being looked at, part of that is very dependent. So the question was if there's going to be Shoutbox or Discord integration. Discord keeps going back and forth with you can integrate, you can't integrate, you can, you can't. You can, but now the rules have changed dramatically. So it's
But there are people who have already built plugins for Discord integration.
it's
So
in
we
the
could,
works.
So we
yes.
could simply purchase someone else's work in this case and
Yes.
actually co-opt it to ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we plan to do that for other social media platforms. So Colin right now is the one who's manually going and tweeting whenever we
Oh
need a
my
tweet
god.
done.
Yes.
We can integrate so that when we make a site announcement, it will auto tweet out saying, here's the summary of the site announcement, here's a link to go get the whole thing. But it will send the whole thing onto your Facebook wall because you can.
Well, and so since we're generally on this anyway, the big thing that Envision lets us do is expand our overall capabilities and our ability to integrate.
Without needing Rodrigo or me or David.
So, I mean,
spend
there's
hours and hours
already
doing it.
talk. I mean, Ishmael's never going to be a public bot because that has security access. But there's been talk about, okay, having a Mythweaver's bot that you can pull into your private server that can look at the sheets for your game. that can roll the dice if you want to do a Discord-based game, and it can talk to your game on the site.
So that you could play a hybrid game where it actually keeps track of your chat log from your Discord channel.
Yeah,
and
it's
posts it as you're going.
Yeah, it's what Envision lets us do is integrate things, expand things, without making us want to bang our heads against the wall for the next 2 years. Yeah, just
It's about speed. Is what it comes down to. You've got a coding team of two-ish, because David's really mostly not
Dave is
available.
busy right now.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
just the talking man. I run interference so the coders can work.
But it allows us to take advantage of other people's work and deliver things faster for you guys.
We do have, just to address a question from the Twitch from Gaia. No, there's no provisions for fudging dice rolls. If you're using the roller, there's no please fudge this and insert that.
Right. However, private posts, if you attach dice to private posts,
Yes.
no one sees the results other than you, so you could fudge it that way. But if you're gonna fudge it, you just might as well pick whatever result you want.
Alright, so
So
onwards.
So all right, I think we covered most of the cool stuff about game features. Other than you can also reorder the menu. So if you don't like the way the tabs are arranged, you can
Click and
drag them around to wherever you want it. Just leave it. It's your save.
It's a far more intuitive setup.
Dragons or sheep?
Hmm?
Dragons or sheep?
Louder, fans.
Dragons or girl?
Dragon's a she. The drag and drop
Drag
is not
and drop.
a percentage. You can also remove features if you wanted, if you added something that you didn't mean to. So I mean,
Right.
that's basically it for the game forms, right? It's a lot, but it probably doesn't seem like a lot to you, but it was a lot to us because doing this in vBulletin, I think, might have actually been technically impossible.
Yeah, we couldn't do most, especially with the absolute mess that it already is from its initial creation. No, there was no way to do this.
Yeah, we literally
in
can't even
vBulletin.
do a regular update. You can't just take vBulletin's code and say, I need to do the next version. We would have to recode all of it.
No, we tried. That was part of the 3 failed updates.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. But yeah, that notice I got about the IPS update, it's like 3 button clicks. Code's installed, we're done.
Dimitri says you're quiet. Talk into that.
I'm going to talk into that more. Unfortunately, I'm the one here with the health condition that requires me to be the only one here
With the
besides-
mask.
With a mask. Yeah. All right. So we talked about games. We talked about forums, calendar, gallery. We can actually have an art gallery where we can share people's works if they want.
That's still in discussion.
Yeah. Whether we're
There-
going to take advantage of it.
There are several features on Envision that are either in discussion or straight up got axed.
What you're seeing are the ones where we're still considering.
Upvote, downvote system got axed very quickly because we tried that once.
Yeah, it went badly.
Oh, it went so bad.
Yeah.
It went so bad.
Yeah, so that's gone. But yeah, blogs. So text content too. We could have like actual authors if they wanted to, but no pressure.
As he looks right at Dalphinus.
She happened to be in my line of few. Staff directory. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
Even this was one of those dumb things that would have been hard to do.
Yeah,
with
we had to
vBulletin.
do that in the original wiki.
Yep.
And yeah.
And now it's just automatic. Anyone who's got staff privileges is listed in the staff directory, so we can talk about who they are, what they do.
Why is my name on there?
Because technically,
temporary.
the heat death of the universe is temporary.
This is true.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So maybe we should talk about Amy's feature real quick.
Oh boy.
Oh, hi. Yeah, there's a storefront integration directly.
Yeah.
So there's your community supporter.
Yeah, so
You want to buy those swag
the,
tickets?
the more notable thing with the storefront capability is things like community supporter are easier to do. There's been talk about some Mythweaver swag stuff like, oh, event registration for Mythweaver Meetup 2022 is going to be able to be done
directly through.
depending how hard we flog Eric to make it get done to that point. If the storefront is up by then, it'll be easier to do registrations and add-ons to registrations and all that.
You need
And Amy t-shirts.
yeah, any t-shirts.
Is this a single storefront or is it also available per game? Can you
Single
grind your
storefront.
GM?
Single
So
storefront.
he's answering the how it's gonna be. Technically, if you wanted to run your own IPS server, you'd have a separate storefront for every club. We're not gonna do
However,
that.
yeah, there's got years of existing precedent for why not. That boils down to it keeps me from killing people. There's been we don't even have a storefront on the current server, and there's been abuse attempts over the past
Year,
how many years?
decade, 15 years. Oh, the site's been open for 15 years.
Of course it has. But yeah, so it's reason being there's been abuse attempts. Now, that's not to say that we aren't going to allow some member created stuff. So we've got Farland's been partnered with the server forever.
Yep.
Since Mythweaver started. He was one of the founders. Farland, is going to have adventure PDFs that we're going to offer that as an option. That's something we're going to talk about with opening up to other members too. It's not just going to be
The Wild West.
anyone can just add anything.
Will not be eBay. Will not be
Yeah.
Craigslist.
Yeah, it's not going to be eBay or Craigslist. We're not going to be, assholes about it, but we're not going to let just anyone throw up stuff because, again, there's so many issues we've had in the past.
Yeah. All right.
All right. The storefront is going to be dollar denominated, right?
Hmm?
The storefront is going to be dollar denominated.
The storefront will be
Bitcoin.
utilizing PayPal.
Okay.
It is actually possible within the storefront. So if someone is selling their PDFs, and we've agreed, okay, the site gets X percent, like something minor, and you get the rest, it's actually possible for us to set that up automatically with that user profile. So we're not having to take payment and then send them stuff. It'll automatically deduct like our cut and their cut, split it, send it to their PayPal.
I see.
It is very automated, very streamlined. Yeah.
And you're collecting sales tax in which state?
There's automatic stuff set up for that.
Yep. It's actually, since it was designed with that in mind.
Yeah.
It's post the law that they changed because of Amazon.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, it can collect sales tax in all 50 states.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Because we're required to.
yes.
That's why the storefront's going to be taking a little longer to actually get.
Yeah, it is not some small little Etsy type storefront. It is actually a full massive e-commerce platform to the extent that it dwarfs some of the major e-commerce platforms I've used in the past. Like it has features I wish I'd had access to in the expensive packages.
Yep.
So it's not some cute little Etsy shop type thing. It is here's your 300 different settings, options, blah, blah, blah. Make sure everything's in legal compliance, this, that, and the other. It is massive.
Do you plan to, if there is a fraud dispute or chargeback on the storefront, do you plan to have actions on the members account as a result of this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
all
part of that, though.
integrated.
That's also why there's PayPal integration with it, too, because that helps with that versus direct card payment.
Yeah. We might know somebody who knows somebody.
Will there be a Mythweavers app now that you have this?
No.
No app.
Because mobile friendly.
Just go to your browser.
Yeah, it's
And that's really where most mobile sites are trending anyway. It's having a custom app is actually a lot harder than just making your site mobile friendly in the first place.
and that's been the maddening thing the past year and a half. All the times I've been asked, is there going to be an app or when is it going to be mobile friendly? I'm just sitting there going,
Release date.
Yeah, it's like we're sitting there going,
Release date.
what can I say without alluding to what we're doing? But yeah,
Working on updates, but we can't do anything right now.
Right.
Hmm?
Speaking of release date,
That's redacted. No, seriously, we have to actually have a staff meeting now to figure out what
Yeah.
the date is where we're going to transition from the current closed beta, because if any of you are not on my whitelist, you'll never actually be able to get to the site, to an open beta where we'll be running both of the sites in parallel.
Yes.
And then there will be a transition period where we'll start to say, you can't create new games on the old site. You'll have to create new games on the new site.
It's going to be a phased transition. And then it's going to be one of the things they're still working on is moving the existing stuff from the old to the new. And that's why one of the first transition steps, like Eric said, is okay, existing games keep going. If you're starting a new one, now it's on the new platform. And then we start transitioning everything else in tiers.
Is all the old user data and game data just going to move across? Or?
User data definitely will. Game data,
Some of it might be
Access.
read only. We're not going to wipe the big thing.
nothing's going away.
Some might go read only. We are not erasing any data. It'll still be accessible. You just might not be able to go back and edit your 8-year-old post. So it's one of those things. There's limits to how much we can do.
Is that what the locks are for?
For you, yes. Your games will be the first to be locked.
Logan's gonna get a special little user tier just so I can play with his permissions all the time. All right.
Part of the reason why it's hard is because we didn't exactly follow standard BB code rules when we wrote some of those BB code tags in the old form.
Yeah, there's a lot of BB code on the existing site that is not BB code. It looks like it. It's not. It's custom stuff that was
Tables,
badly hacked in.
private tags.
Oh, so horrifically hacked
Have
in.
you improved or changed your DDoS protection?
So we actually did get DDoSed. We did it to ourselves.
That was
we DDoSed our file server access to get to the files to actually deliver UPHP.
yeah, there is some DDoS protection built in through the web host.
Yep.
Like actually some pretty significant DDoS protection.
And then we have 2 other layers of protection on the site, and then on the
Yes.
and then on the
There's
load balancer on above.
There's been, ever since we had that data loss incident with Sheets, there has been a huge amount of institutional paranoia about what ifs. So, I mean, I can honestly say we probably have a lot more redundancy and backup set up than some major corporations. Not because major corporations are terribly vigilant to begin with, though.
Right. Well, it's partly because you guys are freaking scary.
Yes.
The peak number of members online on the old site
13,000.
was about 4,000 on October 18th of 2015.
I thought we went over that.
No, that was the day that we came back from the Sheet system upgrade 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Having Sheets offline for 2 days almost crashed
Yes.
the Discord server with the number of people who logged on to say, where am I? Actually,
Yeah.
it wasn't Discord at the time. It was...
No, it was Discord. You're
It
talking
was.
a major.
Oh, the
That's
site.
where I
That was
came
the
from.
site outage.
Oh, that was the site outage. Yes.
Almost crashed Discord because...
Yeah, it's
Where
yeah.
are my games?
Yeah, we have implemented a lot of backups and redundancies and honestly in a few cases some slightly insane what if precautions just because we've seen the user base suddenly slam the server with no explanation.
Right. I mean, that was the reason why we went down with the with last Christmas's issues was...
Well, yes, once you fix the issues, then it was just the 5,000 people trying to get on at once.
Up
The
Baldr?
you had mentioned the R tags. Most BB code is just for layouting, so what you see is what you get works well.
Yes.
Yes.
But like the R-lang tags.
Language
that is like a
tags have been
functionality
discussed.
question.
Yep. So exactly how the language tags will cross over is an open question.
Okay.
That said, there is a plan to cross it over.
Yes.
We're just Yeah, it's not even a question of how can we, it's more like how do we want to implement it.
Right. And the fact that we have somewhere upwards of, what is it, last count was 15 million, yeah, so 15 million posts. A lot of information to go figure out how to make the old BB code into ours. Rodrigo tried to run the out-of-the-box converter.
Oh yeah, so Envision has an out-of-the-box converter. We choked it in about 5 minutes. It was projecting
Months.
years.
Wasn't it?
Was it
Months
months? I
to
thought
years.
no. I think Powder's right. I think it was projecting years to go through all our posts.
So we're not going to do that. We'll
Y'all
come up
write
with
a
different
lot.
way.
Y'all write a lot.
I'm sorry.
And you should.
So, is there carryover support for example, downloading the entire thread because I want to keep it in like Sid lockbox because I don't trust all of you?
Downloading you're saying in the new one being
Like-
able to download the thread.
The thread, the key character posts.
Yes, I believe so.
I believe there is. If there isn't, that is going to be added.
Right.
Because yes, that falls into again institutional paranoia, wanting people to have backups.
Yep.
I mean that's like the character sheets. One of the things that's going to get addressed as we take this further along is make it easy and more intuitive to save your sheet as a PDF. Instead of right now, it's Control P, make sure to print to PDF. Yeah, there.
But you can't actually print the thread directly to PDF. It formats it automatically.
Yes,
So-
but that doesn't get multiple pages.
Yeah, but pages. Yeah, I know. We'll figure it out.
Things we're
It
making
will-
the code
it will get
monkeys
done.
do.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Last nickels. Okay, so the support system. So the site discussion forum. You didn't see one on the front page because there's actually a built-in support ticketing system. So you need
Yes.
help, just ask for it. You need to find the help articles. Those are also all linked there. Searchable.
And yes, this is the help article section is going to be growing in the next few months as I start to find free time again and start organizing the existing beta testers. Because the goal really is to have complete walkthroughs on how to do the things.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't the new dice roller, but I literally copy and pasted the wiki page of
And
the
it
old dice
just-
roller
Yes,
and just dropped the whole thing in.
certain wiki pages we can just rip out wholesale and drop in, but stuff
is
like
not
the
one of them.
WYSIWYG, how do I alter this, that, the other, we're going to be building out not super verbose tutorials, but bullet point, do this, and that's how you do that. Because there is a transition period. There is.
Yeah. Oh, it also keeps history of all the changes to it.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, we can fix.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they have permission to go vandalize things on the wiki like we deal with sometimes now, but
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Let's talk about notifications. So you got all sorts of notifications. You get the notification stream here. Anything, game invites, earning badges. Staff gets notifications when moderation actions are taken.
Yep, that's also a ticket system.
Right.
Stuff that none of y'all care about, but for us, we're thrilled.
Yeah. Notification settings. So you can set up your notification. Actually, need to click on it as opposed to click to preview. You can set up notifications so that you can get emails or just show up in your notification list. Entirely up to you.
Yeah, it's a lot more customizable with how you want the site to harass you about things.
Right. Private messages. Yeah. Okay. Those are there. Private messages, however, can be group conversations.
Yep.
And and it's all threaded so that you can read it just like it were a line of posts. And yeah, you can kick people out when they're misbehaving. And then the staff stuff. I mean, you guys really don't care about that, but we can now act as a group rather than it showing up just in a list of threads and we have no idea who's read it or responded to it.
Yeah, there's the existing moderation thing, like even reports of spam. Like it's just dropping threads in a forum.
Yep.
We don't know who's seen it. We don't know who's looked at it.
We don't know if
Don't know
someone's
who's
actually
acting on it.
acted on it and just didn't tell anyone that they did it.
We have definitely had 5 people ban, like spam ban, the same spam bot within minutes of each other. So, well, yes, justifiable, but we didn't need 5 people to do it.
Right.
So it's, yeah.
So hypothetically speaking, I have a GM who's a game master who's gone and died on us or something like that, and we found a substitute one. We would
GM
open-
Rescue Society will move over.
Okay, and then we
So-
open a ticket with it to
Yep.
remove
Yep.
ownership. Okay.
Open a ticket, hey, this happened, hey, my players are on board, like the other players are on board with me taking over, and we're probably going to keep that forum base just because that way, you know, you can still get the calls for new GM if none of the existing players want to take over.
Okay.
So, do we miss anything?
I do not think we missed anything, so questions?
Last few minutes for open questions. We're already over time. Chase
We're
is gonna
always
yell
over.
at us. That was so nice. Chase just kind of shrugged and didn't yell.
I did yelling before when you didn't turn my phone.
That's true. Open questions.
Twitch chat, that applies to y'all too. You can ask questions too.
2 questions. When are you fixing Ishmael so it doesn't hit cockroaches?
So,
Language.
I've spent all of my free coding time making sure that this worked exactly as we just demonstrated today.
Yeah.
Now
Ishmael
I'll go
fixes.
back and actually working on the
We've
fun.
documented the issues. They just haven't been touched yet.
Understood. And that's the lead up to, will that same feature, while the language can get carried over to this?
So
This
has a
already has-
This has a complete language filter built in.
Okay, is it actually a smart or
It's a blacklist, whitelist. It's smart.
Okay.
All right. Question: how will game planning work now that the games can recruit on the main page? Well, that's not the main page. That is a games forum.
So the games index is completely separate from the forums index. So if I went to the forums index, this is going to show you forum. Oh, look, now there's a staff forum that they couldn't see when I was demo.
Yes.
But yeah, forums completely separate from games.
Now, that said, that's one of our main priorities. Next is it's going to be a plugin, I believe. That's what Eric was saying. Getting a plugin together so that you do an ad, it links to that game. We are going to be bringing back the end date and time
Closure dates
feature.
on. Yep.
Just because right now we had to turn it off in the existing forum.
Because vBulletin doesn't understand date time.
vBulletin doesn't understand date time and it was causing issues, but that also leads to things like staff getting yelled at every so often to go and close a bunch of game ads that the GMs didn't close.
Yep.
So
This will fix that problem.
yeah, so it's the ad system is one of the pending add-ons that's one of the next priorities for the next phase.
The game planning, just kind of chatting about, hey, I'm thinking about running this type of thing, and what do you think? That may actually go in a forum like gaming discussion.
Yeah, game planning might just be merging into gaming discussion. And by might, I mean it's probably merging into gaming discussion. Or GM workshop.
Or, we just add a 4th one here under Tabletop RGs.
I don't like your logic. It's not allowed here.
We can try anything.
Yes.
Twice. Maybe 3 times.
Everything is airdroppable at least once.
That's right.
So yeah, ad system is pending. It doesn't exist yet because it's going to be an add-on.
Additional questions. Didn't you say you had 2 absent? Did you ask both of them?
He asked
Okay.
both. You answered both.
I lose track. All right.
All right.
Well, with no other questions,
Logan, I'm going to throw my phone at you.
You have to find
Where do you go?
he moved.
He moved. I've got absent blocking my view to the chair you were in.
And it's Jimmy's over there.
I
anyway.
would feel bad if I threw my phone and hit Jimmy.
But not at me?
That's a stretch.
You're just in the way.
Oh.
All right. So yeah, that's we're gonna wrap it there then, so Chase can get her game going.
All right. Thank you, everyone who attended via Twitch. This will be posted on YouTube so that people can get to it later. We'll put the link on the main site.
In a thread, because I know there's going to be a lot more questions. So,
Open Q&A will be coming. All right.
Thanks, Eric.
I'm going to kill the stream.
thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.